Hey, I wanted to record a quick video for you guys about something that my husband Chris, and I did a few weeks ago. And I've been meaning to record a video about it for all this time, really, and just kept slipping my mind. So today's finally the day. And the reason I want to talk about it is because it was something that was extremely inspiring and eye-opening to both of us, really. We went to an event called and by the way, don't be alarmed by me doing all this while I'm driving. The phone is safely attached to something that's holding it in place. So we went to something called the World Vegan Summit and Expo in Berkeley in Northern California. And essentially it was an educational and activism conference. And it was just extremely interesting. I just wanted to really briefly share a few thoughts about it. Two things that were that really stood out to me, and the first one had to do with a presentation given by Dr. Milton Mills, who has done research into the human body and to what extent the human body is actually quote-unquote designed to consume animal products. And before going to this conference, sort of my take on it was always that, yeah, maybe we're naturally inclined to eat that stuff, but we can also get everything that we need, all the nutrients that we need from other sources. And we do have a conscience. It's not like we're just acting purely on instinct, so we do have a responsibility to think about the consequences of our actions, so we should choose to get what we need from those other sources, because that's the empathetic, the just way of doing it, the peaceful way of doing it. And what this presentation did was essentially completely blow my mind. I had no idea to what extent science was actually on our side. So essentially what Dr. Milton Mills does is he goes into the body and all these different parts of the body and chemically and the way that the body is, again, air quotes, designed in terms of whether it's suitable for hunting and all that stuff. And it is just so resoundingly clear that we are not made to consume animal products, that is a cultural invention that has nothing to do with what our nature is. And I'm not going to go into all the details. There's if you want, if you're interested in this, shoot me a message and I will send you a link to the presentation online. It's very detailed. It's extremely convincing. Just off the top of my head, a couple things. Lions and tigers, for example, they can eat all the meat in the world and then never get heart disease or stroke or anything, whereas humans, that is the number one or one of the top reasons why humans get stroke and heart disease and that kind of thing, because our stomachs can't process it properly. We're also not designed to hunt in any shape or form. We are, if you think about it, our bodies we're really slow. We're not aerodynamic. We don't have anything to really rip out flesh. We don't have anything to really kill with effectively. Our necks, for example, are extremely vulnerable. Whereas if you see a dog kind of play with a toy and do this thing, they're totally fine. If we do that, we're in danger of injuring our necks because we don't have the big muscles that protect it and all that stuff. So it's extremely interesting. We're basically designed to travel long distances at a very slow pace, and then we have these intricate hands that can pick grapes and stuff like that, and because that is meant to be our food. So it's very, very interesting, but there's so much more to it that it was just incredibly mind-blowing. And then it all of a sudden made sense that in the follow-up presentation, or in one of the follow-up presentations, the person who spoke, you presented all these graphs of how people's likelihood to suffer from certain health issues such as high cholesterol, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, that kind of thing. And it was always like vegan, vegetarian, meat eater sort of comparison, and vegan did best in every single one of those categories. And then when you think about the other president, it's like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense, because we are not meant to eat that stuff. We're forcing something on our bodies that our bodies are not meant to process. So that was extremely eye-opening. I had no idea that that was in our favor to such an overwhelming extent. And the other thing that I was already aware of, but that was reinforced, and which was really interesting, was how really our consumption of animal products is one of a group of, or is actually, let me put it this way, it's part of a number of oppressive behaviors, or behaviors of exploitation and violence that we justify, all of them we justify in the same way, which is through othering. And that's, I come from cultural studies, so that's a term that I'm very familiar with. It basically means that you're denying another group of sentient beings their interests on the basis of really what turns out to be arbitrary factors. So you're going, women are XYZ, so it's okay to subjugate them. Black people are, they don't suffer in the same way, so slavery is okay. Gay people they're the cancer of society, so it's okay to do this to them. It's okay to deny them their rights. And when you really look into it, it comes down to all of that being irrelevant. It shouldn't play any role in being empathetic and respecting someone else's right to be free of harm, to continue to live, and yet with each of these groups, we're finding justifications. And it just became really, really clear. Again, I was already aware of this, but it was really reinforced just how similar our treatment of animals and our reduction of animals to property status. We're basically treating them as things, and we're saying their interests don't matter because X, Y, Z. And when you really look into all of these justifications, none of them are legitimate. It's just so similar to all these other systems of oppression and exploitation and violence that we have or have had in place. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you guys. It was also awesome meeting Dr. Gary Francione, who's in my view, the leading thinker of abolitionist veganism. Yeah, it was just incredible. Chris and I both came away extremely inspired to keep talking to people, keep educating people, and to keep fighting for a better and more just society where we don't continue to pick on and exploit the most vulnerable, which is animals. That's it. Thanks for listening, and go vegan.